up, everybody? How we doing today? Again, we want to thank you all for your patience. Appreciate it. Sorry about yesterday. Let me turn up the volume here. There we go. That should be better on YouTube now. This is break number 1043. This is a case of Select Baseball Hobby. All right, 12 boxes in the break. Let's get into it. Already fucking up the camera. Alright, we got 6 boxes. We got the other 6 boxes. 12 boxes in the break. Box number 1. Good morning. What's up, Jimmy? Sorry about the delivery, guys. It got sent to our LA office instead of my office, so I do apologize, guys. We had to have it overnighted here, so that way we can get this break done for you guys. Alright, box number 1, here we go. I just started, and this is box number 1 there. Steven. Alright, let's freaking camera. Wants to do what it wants to do. Okay, here we go. Box number 1. We got Hank Greenberg on the Browns. 88 out of 125. Tricolor. There's Buster Posey. There's our first auto. It's going to Oakland. What's up, Ben? Going to Oakland is our first auto. That's Jose Canseco. Not numbered on that, Jose Canseco. Bubba Chandler on the white. There is 16 out of 99. 16 out of 99. Joe Sewell. 159 out of 199. Tricolor, Ethan Salas. Rhett Lauder on the silver prism. right, second half. Here we go. That's Roman Anthony on the purple, 6 out of 75. Tricolor, Dylan Dreeling. Dylan Dreeling. Brown, Noah Schultz for the White Sox. That is 17 out of 125. And our next auto goes to the Pirates. That is Song-Chi Chang. Song-Chi Chang for the Pirates. This one is not numbered. There's Carson Williams on the red. 34 of 149. 34 of 149. Silver Prism, Noah Schultz. Jacob Wilson on the red Phenomenon. 5 out of 99. Silver Prism, Will Clark. And our patch goes to the Philadelphia Phillies. That is Andrew Painter. Andrew Painter on the patch for the Phillies. This is a select swatch patch, not numbered. All right, that's box number 1. Box number 1. Box number 2. Got our first zebra print. First zebra print. Hopefully that's a sign of more to come. Here we go, box number 2. Tricolor, Carson Williams. Tricolor, Roy Campanella. There is our first auto of this box. We also have some gold right here, and that is going to the non-MLB spot. That is Ethan Holiday on the gold. Ethan Holiday gold. That is 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10, Ethan Holiday on the gold. Beautiful hit for the non-MLB spot. Austin Wells on the white for the Yankees, 12 out of 99. Mariano Rivera for the Yankees, 32 out of 149. And our zebra print. That is Bobby Witt Jr. for Kansas City. Bobby Witt Jr. for Kansas City on the zebra. Nice hit for the Royals. Nice hit for the Royals. Larry Walker, that's for Montreal, going to the Washington Nationals. 51 of 199. Big Poppy on the silver prism. PJ Morlando blue. And behind it is a purple legendary signature to 35. Purple legendary signature to 35 going to the Yankees. That is Cecil Fielder. Cecil Fielder to 35, 8 out of 35. 8 out of 35. PJ Morlando on the blue. That is 34 of 199. Tricolor, Ty Cobb. Starlin Caba, that is on the silver prism. Silver prism, Ko-Ching Shane for the Dodgers. Our patch, that is Christian Moore for the Angels. Christian Moore for the Angels. Select swatches not numbered. We got one card left of box 2. It is that redemption auto right there. Let's find out what we got. My sweat card. Here we go. Select signatures purple prism. That is to 35. Card number 20. That is Roman Anthony for the Red Sox. Roman Anthony for the Red Sox on the redemption. And that's to 35. Box number 3. All right. Box number 3. Here we go. That is Will Wagner for Toronto on the purple. That is 4 out of 75. Chandler Simpson, Silver Prism. Edgar Quieto on the blue. That is 25 out of 199. Neon green, we got Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco, 26 out of 49. Tricolor, Paul Molitor. Silver Prism, Aiden Miller for the Phillies. All right, here we go. Second half. That is Chipper Jones. Behind Chipper Jones is Matt Shaw for the Cubs. Matt Shaw for the Cubs on the Diamond Action signature. That is not numbered. Kellen Lindsey, 9 out of 149. Jace Lavalette Brown for the non-MLB, 32 out of 125. Tricolor, Pee Wee Reese, Brooklyn Dodgers. Ryan Johnson for the Angels on the blue. Behind that, our auto is Ko-Ching Shane for the Dodgers. Ko-Ching Shane for the Dodgers. Not numbered. Enrique Bradfield Jr. Silver Prism. And our patch goes to the Washington Nationals. That is James Wood. James Wood of the Washington Nationals. Select swatches, not numbered. Ryan Johnson, 156 out of 199 for the Angels. Box number 4. This is box number 4. Here we go. That is Miguel Cabrera on the tricolor. Legendary signature, not numbered. This one goes to the Chicago White Sox. That is Robin Ventura. Robin Ventura of the White Sox, not numbered on the legendary signatures. Will Clark, 71 of 149. That is Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez, 47 out of 199. That is a tie-dye of Nomar Garciaparra. Nomar Garciaparra for the Red Sox. Tie-dye to 25. That is 7 out of 25. 7 of 25. Nice hit for the Red Sox. Christian Moore for the Angels on the tricolor. Hagen Smith, Silver Prism. White, that's Jesus Made for Milwaukee, 17 of 99. Tricolor, Triz Speaker, Red Sox. There's Blake Burke on the red for Milwaukee. Our next auto goes to the Dodgers again. That is Coaching Shane. Coaching Shane on the auto for the Dodgers. That's number 2. And it's also not numbered, just like the other one. All right. John Smoltz. That is 94 out of 199. Cam Smith on the Silver Prism. Roger Clemens on the numbers. That is 46 out of 49 for the Red Sox. Silver Prism, Jacob Mizorowski, and our patch, Kyle Teal for the White Sox. Kyle Teal for the White Sox. Not numbered, select swatch. Alright, that's your first 4 boxes. First 4 boxes. Box number 5. right, box number 5. That is Carson Bench for the Mets. Carson Bench, 117 out of 125. Blue Phenomenon behind Edgar Quieto. That is Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell for the Red Sox. That is 44 out of 49. 44 of 49. Tricolor, Bo Jackson, our auto. Going to Texas, that is Songjun Kim. Songjun Kim, not numbered. That is Johan Santana, 132 out of 199 on the blue. That is Jordan Lawler, 141 out of 149 on the red. Michael Young, 14 out of 99 white. Tricolor, Ethan Salas. Kyle Teal on the silver prism. 64 125. Colt Keith on the brown. Tricolor, Cash Mayfield. That's Robin Ventura, 65 out of 199 on the blue. We have an auto behind it. That is Edgar Quieto on the Diamond Action auto, not numbered for the White Sox. That's Dylan Dreeling on the silver prism, and our red patch is Hai-Song Kim. Hai-Song Kim for the Dodgers. Red. That is 13 out of 99. 13 out of 99. Box number 6. Pirates, where are you? That's true, yeah. Been kind of quiet the first 5 boxes. Man is here. tie-dye patch. All right, box number 6. There's Ty Cobb on the white. That is 9 out of 99. Tricolor, Travis Bazzana. Blue, Matt Shaw on the Cubs, 108 out of 199. Brown, Jose Canseco, 58 out of 125. That is blue, and it looks like a blue auto. We got a blue auto behind Vance Honeycutt. It is Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod. Couldn't keep his signature on the sticker, but that's A-Rod for the Yankees. A-Rod on the auto for the Yankees. That is numbered 35 out of 49. 35 of 49. Nice hit for the Yankees. Gracious. That is Roman Anthony on the red. Roman Anthony, red. That is 145 out of 149 for the Red Sox. Tie-dye for the Phillies. That is Aiden Miller. Aiden Miller for the Phillies. 5 out of 25. 5 out of 25. Got a red auto coming. Red auto. Tricolor. There's Tom Glavine. Chandler Simpson on the purple. Chandler Simpson purple. Our red auto is a color match of Luke Dickerson for the Washington Nationals. Luke Dickerson, Washington. Color match 47 out of 99. Silver Prism, that's Ryan Johnson for the Angels. Silver Prism, Cade Horton for the Cubs. Christian Campbell on the Phenomenon red for the Red Sox. Again, 4 out of 99 on the color match. Silver Prism, that's Ozzie Smith going to the St. Louis Cardinals. Rookie tie-dye Hai Sung Kim. Tie-dye for the Dodgers on the 2-color patch. 12 out of 25. 12 out of 25. Box number 7. Box number 7. Looks like another tie-dye patch. Another tie-dye. And some gold. Here we go. Box 7. Ethan Holiday, Silver Prism for the non-MLB spot. Aaron Judge, Tricolor. Tricolor, Bryce Rainier for Detroit. Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz on the auto, not numbered, for Washington. Darren Baker, that is 32 of 125. Tricolor, Noble Mayer for Miami. Josur Gonzalez for the Giants. Silver Prism, and that is Dylan Cruz on the red turbocharge. That is 34 out of 99. 34 of 99. Do the first half first, then we'll get to that patch again. Gold. That is Griff O'Farrell for the Baltimore Orioles on our gold. Premier level 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 for Baltimore. White. That is Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera, 74 of 99. Another redemption. James Wood, red. 129 out of 149. We got a blue, Sung Joon Kim for Texas. That is numbered 139 out of 199. Bobby Witt Jr. on the red. 41 of 149. Silver Prism, that is Kyle DeBarge for Minnesota. Our select swatch is Travis Bazana on the Spark patch, actually. That's a Spark patch. Tie-dye, 3 colors. 22 out of 25. Nice hit for Cleveland. Oh, we still have an auto to do. We still have an auto. I forgot about that redemption sitting right in front of me. Here we go. Redemption time. Signature red prism, card number 19. Signature red prism, card number 19. That should be to 99 since it's red. Luke Keyshaw on the redemption for Minnesota. Luke Keyshaw on the redemption to 99. All right, box number 8. All right, box number 8. Ricky Henderson. That is 110 out of 199. Miguel Cabrera on the silver. Silver prism. That's Rogers Hornsby for St. Louis. That is Randy Johnson, the big unit. That is for Montreal, which is the Washington Nationals. That is 37 out of 49. 37 out of 49. Vance Honeycutt on the tricolor. Our first auto of this box is Austin Wells for the Yankees. Not numbered. Austin Wells. Tommy Troy on the purple, 32 out of 75. Blue, Roman Anthony. That is 132 out of 199. Tricolor, Ian Kinsler for Texas. Eddie Collins for the White Sox, 11 out of 149. Roger Clemens, tricolor. Brown, James Wood for Washington, 106 out of 125. That is Grover Alexander on the Brown. 58 out of 125 for Philadelphia. Silver Prism, that's Roman Anthony. Deion Sanders behind that. And our patch goes to the Detroit Tigers. That is Bryce Rainier. Bryce Rainier, select swatch, not numbered. They're on that side. Get some more top loaders here. Those are ready to go. Final 4 boxes. Final 4. Box number 9. Box number 9. Drew Burris, tricolor for the non-MLB spot. Purple, Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, 38 out of 75. Chase Dollander, silver prism for Colorado. There's Miguel Tejada on the tricolor. And that is Kevin McGonigal for Detroit on the Diamond Action Auto. Not numbered. Matt Shaw on the brown, 53 of 125. Matt Shaw red, that is 112 out of 149. Luis Angel Acuna, 65 of 199. Bobby Witt Jr. on the silver prism. Matt Shaw on the red select certified. That is numbered 74 of 99. 74 of 99. For Detroit, Prince Fielder on the tie-dye. Prince Fielder tie-dye for Detroit. That is 4 out of 25. Tricolor, Alex Gordon. White, that's Braxton Ashcraft. That is Max Muncy on the blue Diamond Action Auto. Blue Diamond Action Auto for the A's. Max Muncy, 13 out of 49. 13 out of 49. Braxton Ashcraft on the white for the Pirates. That is 61 out of 99. 61 of 99. Silver Prism, that's Darren Erstead for the Angels. And our patch is Hagen Smith for the White Sox. Spark patch, not numbered. Box number 10. Box number 10. Got some green and some blue in that stack. Green and blue in that stack. All right, box number 10. Here we go. Ethan Salas, tricolor. Dylan Cruz on the brown. 3 out of 125. That is Chase Petty, and we got a rookie tie-dye auto. Rookie tie-dye auto of Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz for Washington on the tie-dye auto to 25. 15 out of 25. 15 out of 25. Washington's having a pretty good break. 82 out of 125. That was Nomar Garciaparra, sorry. Agustin Ramirez. Nick Kurtz on the silver prism. And that is Roger Clemens on the numbers blue. Roger Clemens, that is number 24 out of 49. 24 out of 49. Alright, we got some green to 5 coming. Here we go. That is Prince Fielder. Oh, Jesus. It's not a green to 5. It's a 600 pointer. 600 Panini points. Randomed off to everybody after the break. At the end of the break. 128 out of 149, Prince Fielder. Johan Santana. 193 out of 199. Travis Bazzana on the red. 35 out of 149. Orange, Jake Arrieta. That is for the Cubs. 19 out of 49. 19 of 49. Here we go. That's Slade Caldwell on the tricolor for Arizona. Silver prism, Ozzie Smith. And our blue spark patch. That is Connor Griffin for the Pirates. Connor Griffin for the Pirates on the 3-color spark patch. 3-color spark patch, 25 out of 49. Alright, there's box number 11. Give me a second while I set up the randomizer real quick. Alright, that's ready to go for after the break. Perfect. Box number 11. All right, box number 11. All right, we got a patch and a patch auto, it looks like. Patch and a patch auto. All right, good luck, everybody. Here we go with box number 11. Braylon Payne, Milwaukee, 165 out of 199. That's Grover Alexander. That is going to Philadelphia, 36 of 99. Our first auto of this box is Darren Baker. Darren Baker for Washington. Not numbered. Tricolor, Greg Maddux. Silver Prism, that's Augustin Ramirez. Christian Campbell on the Phenomenon. Phenomenon Red, that's 80 out of 99. That is Ethan Holiday on the Silver Prism Diamond Level. Nice hit. Nice hit for the non-MLB spot. Silver Prism Luke Dickerson. That is James Tibbs for Boston. James Tibbs for Boston on the red Spark Patch. That is numbered 73 of 99. All right, here we go. Braylon Payne, Tricolor. Orange, that's Eddie Collins for the White Sox, 3 out of 49. Mel Ott, red for the Giants. That is 69 out of 149. Silver Prism, Nick Kurtz. Turbocharged, Dylan Cruz. Our patch auto is blue. Patch auto is blue. We got Jacob Wilson on the blue. 171 of 199. Tricolor, Blake Mitchell, Kansas City. Oh my God. Bobby Witt Jr. on the patch auto. Bobby Witt Jr. patch auto, Kansas City. Dude, that is an awesome hit right there. Bobby Witt Jr. Zebra, Bobby Witt Jr. patch auto, A-Rod auto. Dude, nice. No Oakland hits, big hits. No Pirates big hits this break. This is a totally opposite case. Now we got Kansas City. They've been hitting, but wow. No Oakland and no Pittsburgh so far. Last box. Can we get a color wheel? Last box, then we'll do the randomizer for those 600 points. All right, here we go. Box number 12. Box number 12. Starting out with an auto. That is Blake Burke, 26 of 199. Our auto is behind that. First auto is behind Blake Burke. 35 out of 75. That's Reggie Jackson for the Yankees. There's our patch behind Tommy Troy. There's Cash Mayfield on the silver prism. Tricolor, Deion Sanders going to Cincinnati. Aaron Judge, 137 out of 199 on the blue. Tricolor, that is Kevin McGonigal for Detroit. That is 11 out of 49. Buster Posey on the neon green. Neon green. Going to the Giants. There, 30 out of 99. That is Buster Posey again on the white. That is a purple legendary signature. Jonah Tong covering that. At least I think it's a legendary signature. It has that design, so. That is Seaver King on the silver prism. Seaver King, silver prism. Final pack. That is Robin Ventura, 102 out of 125. 102 out of 125. All right, we got two autos and a patch. 2 autos and a patch incoming. Good luck on the last hits of the break, my friends. Thank you again for your patience. We will do that right after. We will do those 600 points. Tommy Troy, silver prism. And our patch goes to Seattle. That is Colt Emerson on the patch for Seattle. That is not numbered. Our first auto. Rookie. Not numbered. That is J.C. Escara for the Yankees, who is in camp because I'm following the Yankees camp this year. There he is, J.C. Escara, not numbered. And our final auto. Let's get this one put away. Of the break. Behind Jonah Tong. Legendary Signatures purple. Legendary Signatures purple of Johnny Bench for the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Bench. 17 out of 35. All right, let's get these Panini points done. All right. Let me switch over the camera. There's the dice. Come on with me, eBay. Alright. Alright, eBay. Here we go, guys. We're going to roll the dice. Got to be 4 or higher. It's a 5. There's all 30 teams right there. Here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times on the randomizer. There it is, 5 times on the randomizer, and it's going to go to the Washington Nationals. Could they have had more or better of a break? YouTube, you should be back now. Where is my Sharpie? There it is. All right, those 600 points are going to Washington. All right, let's get a recap in. All right, here we go. Here we go. We got to 199, Blake Burke, Aaron Judge, Jacob Wilson, Braylon Payne, Johan Santana, Luis Angel Acuna. We got Roman Anthony, Ricky Henderson, Song Joon Kim, Matt Shaw, Robin Ventura, Johan Santana, John Smoltz, Manny Ramirez, Ryan Johnson, Edgar Quero, Larry Walker, PJ Morlando, and Joe Sewell. To 149, Mel Ott, Travis Bazana, Prince Fielder, Matt Shaw, Eddie Collins, Bobby Witt Jr., James Wood, Roman Anthony, Jordan Lawler, Blake Burke, Will Clark, Kellen Lindsey, Mariano Rivera, and Carson Williams. To 125, we got Robin Ventura, Nomar Garciaparra. We got Dylan Cruz, Matt Shaw, Grover Alexander, James Wood, Darren Baker, Jose Canseco, Colt Keith, Carson Benz, Jace Lavalette to the non-MLB spot, Noah Schultz, and Hank Greenberg. To 99, we got Buster Posey, Grover Alexander, Christian Campbell Phenomenon, Braxton Ashcraft. We have Matt Shaw on the certified, Miguel Cabrera, Dylan Cruz Turbocharged, Christian Campbell Phenomenon, Ty Cobb, Michael Young, Jesus Made, Austin Wells, Jacob Wilson Phenomenon, and Bubba Chandler. To 75, we got Reggie Jackson, Greg Maddux, Tommy Troy, Chandler Simpson, Will Wagner, and Roman Anthony. To 49, Buster Posey, Eddie Collins, Jake Arrieta, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Christian Campbell, Roger Clemens, and Jose Canseco. To 25, we have Prince Fielder, Aiden Miller, Nomar Garciaparra. To 10, Griff O'Farrell, and Ethan Holiday. Our patches. We have Colt Emerson, Hagen Smith, Bryce Rainier, Kyle Teal, James Wood, and Christian Moore. We have Andrew Painter. Our patches to 99, we have James Tibbs, Hai Song Kim. To 49, Connor Griffin. To 25, Travis Bazana and Hai Song Kim. Our autos. We have Darren Baker, Kevin McGonigal, Austin Wells, Edgar Quero, Matt Shaw, Sung Chi Chang. To 99, Luke Dickerson. And to 49, Max Muncy. We also have J.C. Escara, Dylan Cruz, Song Joon Kim, Ko Ching Chang ×2. We have Jose Canseco on the legendary signature. Robin Ventura, legendary signature. Those are not numbered. Our red to 99 goes to Minnesota. That's Luke Keyshaw. To 35, legendary signature Johnny Bench and Cecil Fielder. Also to 35, this is Roman Anthony of the Red Sox. To 25, on the tie-dye, we got Dylan Cruz for Washington. On the blue diamond action auto, that is Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod for the Yankees, 35 out of 49. On the zebra, we got Bobby Witt Jr. And guess what? We have Bobby Witt Jr. on our patch auto to 49 for the Kansas City Royals, or the 35, excuse me, 4 out of 35 for the Kansas City Royals. There's your break, my friends. Again, I want to thank you all for being here. Hope you have a good time. Who on the Roman? What does that mean, Kevin? Boston Red Sox. Or are you trying to find out who has the Roman so you can contact them? I'm going to leave the stream running for a second if you want to answer me, my friend, while I put stuff away. But after that, you guys, I appreciate you all for being here. Hope you had a good time. Hope to see y'all next time. Have a great afternoon, y'all. Peace.